What's up, Sooner Nation? Welcome back to the Sooner Surge. Uh, Here today to preview, to have our Sooner Surge game time, OU versus TU, sellout crowd, Chapman Stadium, 2:30 kick this Saturday. Before we get into it, make sure you're subscribed to the Sooner Surge. Be a part of the Sooner Surge community and family. Join up on the membership, the Discord server, if you would like. But let's get into it, guys. Opening thoughts for this backyard matchup between OU and TU.
Well, this is a game that has a lot of storylines, obviously, with the relationship between Brent Venables and Kevin Wilson, of Kevin Wilson being the former offensive coordinator at Oklahoma under Bob Stoops, while Brent Venables was the defensive coordinator here. This is a TU team that is going under a new culture change under Kevin Wilson. He's trying to preach physicality at TU. That's what he's trying to do, trying to change the culture there. And this is a game that I think OU should have no trouble in, but TU does have some solid talent on the skill position levels.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Kevin Wilson and Brent Venables, but there's also, Dominique Franks is on staff there. An interesting story from Venables at the press conference about that. If you haven't had a chance to watch the press conference, really kind of an interesting story about them wanting to hire Franks at OU. But also, you got Spurrier Jr., believe, there as a receiver coach. Just a lot of familiarity. But this is a game OU should roll. End of story, end of discussion. They should roll. I don't even know what the point spread. Do y'all know what the point spread is on this?
27 and a half, 26.
I thought it was around four. I think it was around 4 touchdowns.
I would expect OU to cover, but there's going to be some interesting things to watch, and specifically for me, TU, as far as who's they're going to roll out there at quarterback because of the injury bug that's kind of bitten them at the quarterback level.
Yeah, if you heard Jeremy Poplin on our our interview this week, he talked about the quarterback position. The third string guy played pretty well last week. We haven't heard about Braylon Braxton's mobility today at practice. That was going to be, according to Jeremy Poplin, kind of the key to if he's going to go or not. But one thing I like about this game and where it sets up in the schedule for the Sooners is it is a chance to get on the road, even though it's a very short trip. It's a chance to go through the logistics of a road trip before you head to Ohio next week, which is going to be a real road test, I think. So I do expect the Sooners to roll, but I'm not sure. You can't let TU hang around because of the familiarity that Jason talked about, because we know Kevin Wilson's team is going to be prepared. This is their bowl game of the year. This is their biggest game of the year with that in mind. So, but there are a lot of things that I'm looking forward to as a Sooner fan seeing this week. I'm looking forward to seeing the Sooners in the whites on the road. I'm looking forward to maybe this running back room expanding a little bit, guys. That's one thing I'm looking forward to. Is I think Javonte Barnes and Sawchuk get a lot of run this week.
Yeah, for sure. And I just think that with OU being able to run the ball, that's a big key of success, because TU, they run it's kind of like a 3-3-5, 3-4-4 system. It's really kind of an odd scheme. I believe they use Ben Kapinski as his name, as kind of like the jack position. Like they'll put him in a lot of different spots along the defensive line. So I think OU, they need to run the ball successfully. They need to be able to average 5 to 6 yards a carry, run for 150 to 200 yards as a team, be able to control the tempo of this game, and show why this offensive line over the offseason got all the hype.
Well, and during the Washington game, TU, they didn't want Penix to beat them deep, so they dropped people, and so
like 7 or 8 deep.
What?
Oh, I said they dropped like 7 or 8 deep a lot.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. They drop people, and OU saw that last week with SMU. OU didn't handle it very well. I'm interested to see how they improve upon that this week if TU does the same thing. You got to be able to make those underneath passes. You got to be able to run the ball. So,
yeah, and I mean, this isn't going to be a true road test in the sense of hostile environment. We expect probably 80% crimson and cream there at Chapman Stadium there on Harvard. But One thing that if you switch sides to the defensive side for the Sooners, there's kind of some things in the air this week with injuries. We should see some people at maybe different positions, which is going to help in the long run. But short term, that could cause some issues. That's something that you got to keep your eye on. And also, it's not like TU hasn't seen a good quarterback and a good offense because they're coming off playing Washington, who with Michael Penix definitely can score some points. So I think that's interesting as well. They got some tough-nosed grinders on defense. TU does. Ostrowski and some other guys. I mean, these guys are football players. OU is going to have to be solid, and you don't want a game where you go through the motions, aren't complacent, heading up to Ohio next week on an early kickoff.
Yeah, you want to be clicking on all cylinders after this week.
Yeah, and this is where Oklahoma, whether TU uses Braylon Braxton or Cardo Williams, those two guys are instantly a threat with their legs. TU will probably use a lot of the zone run scheme where they will give them the option to run backside because TU, they've done that a little bit this year. TU offensively, a wide receiver. They have Marquise Shoulders and Braylon Presley, I would say, are probably their top two guys. Now, they haven't gotten to use Braylon Presley a lot yet, but I think versus OU, I would expect them to try to get the ball out quick to Braylon Presley. And Presley is a guy who obviously wanted the OU offer out of high school. And we thought that Oklahoma had a chance to get him out of the transfer portal, and it just never happened. And it's with Presley, he's going to test Oklahoma's ability to tackle on the perimeter, to which Oklahoma also needs to keep up the consistency tackling-wise as well.
Yeah, and let's get right into the keys to the game, guys. Each one of us drop one key to the game. We'll start with you, Jay. What's one key to the game for the Sooners this week?
I think the key to the game is, I think offensively, it's running the football. I still don't think through the first two games they've been dominant running the ball. They had Walker had over 100 yards last week. It was a better game, but it still was not what I was expecting going into this season from the talk with the offensive line. So I'm interested to see if they can really just dominate an opponent and run the ball. Defensively, I think the whole key is going to be you mentioned kind of the mobility of the quarterback, but I think it's just going to be doing what they've done the first two games. I think they've been solid the first two games, and it's just building upon that. And if you have different guys playing cheetah or whatever, it's just basically no breakdowns. I mean, you had a few breakdowns against SMU. It didn't hurt you. Quarterback made overthrows, but just trying to play good, sound defense and good tackling. They've had that great so far.
Yeah, my key to the game is controlling the line of scrimmage on both sides. These are matchups OU's got to win. I mean, you have to control the line of scrimmage on the offensive side. DG should not be touched. DG and Jackson Arnold, when they drop back to pass. OU should be able to clear some lines, some lanes for these running backs to run through. I expect some big runs on the ground game this week. And then on the defensive side, look, OU should win those matchups. Even if they have an extra guy in protection, OU should win these matchups with the physicality and the guys that they have on the defensive front. And if OU can do that, it's going to be a long day, long afternoon there for Braxton, whoever's at quarterback, because OU is going to be in the backfield all night, all long.
Well, offensively, for me, the key to the game is getting Austin Stogner involved in this offense. Because going into conference play, you are going to need to have Austin Stogner on pace playing. Because in the first two games, I think we all are shocked that Austin Stogner's gotten one touch in total. He's caught the ball once on a screen pass. There was plays versus SMU where Stogner was open. He didn't get the ball thrown to him. We don't know why. Okay, so it's getting Stogner involved. And defensively, I think it's just health right now. Like, you got to keep guys healthy. Like, right now they have Justin Harrington, who's not going to play versus TU. I would not be shocked if Deshaun McCullough
have they announced that he's not playing yet?
No, that for who?
Harrington?
Yeah, Brent Venables said in his press conference Harrington's not going to play. Pretty much.
I thought he just said.
I didn't. All he said is he's banged up, guys.
Yeah, that's all I heard too.
would say from things that I've seen and heard, I do not expect Harrington to play. Let's just say that. The rapid sounds like an injury that's pretty serious. We obviously don't know exactly what it is. Desan McCullough, I don't think if he's on 100%, there's not a reason to play Desan McCullough, force him to play. So it's really just kind of keep guys healthy, going into conference play, have a fully healthy Desan McCullough, a healthy Justin Harrington, and really just keep your defense as a whole healthy because you don't need to have more guys going down with injury. And honestly, the same thing goes for both sides of the ball.
Yeah, but hey, I don't know. I don't want to speculate injuries here. That's not what we do here. I'm not sure Harrington's is that serious because if you remember near the last end of that game, he made that pick and kind of slid down and was chest bumping coaches. So I'm not sure that it's a serious injury, as you say. Definitely banged up, as BV said, and definitely something there under the knee. But I think they'll hold him out. I agree. McCullough, though, is one that's interesting. I think if he's close to 100%, he's playing because he needs to get in there and get some work before they go on the road, I think. So drop your questions in the chat, viewers. We want to know what your key to the game is. Drop those here in the chat with the Sooner Surge community. Let's get this rolling on the comments. What's your key to the game, Sooner fans? Let's move on, guys. Sooner standout, Jackson. Who's going to be the Sooner standout at 2:30 against Tulsa Golden Hurricane?
My Sooner standout is going to be a guy who was named a captain, is making his return to the 918. He's going to get an interception, and that is Gentry Williams. I think we all saw in the first 2 weeks that Gentry Williams flashed. He showed what he can be. It's a homecoming for him and RSJ, but I think Gentry Williams is going to get a lot of run at that cornerback 2 spot. He's going to have himself a big day.
I'm going to go with Gavin Sawchuk. And my bold take is he's going to score from 60-plus Saturday. He's going to break one, go the distance, 60-plus yards, mark it down. This is Friday when this video is coming out, 60-yard run or more for tomorrow for Gavin Sawchuk.
I'm going exactly what Jay just said. It's going to be a 60-yard plus run for Javonte Barnes on Saturday. I think Javonte Barnes is going to let loose. You heard him this week talk about patience. He's a guy that has been patient, knows that his time is coming. He's not trying to push that in any way. He's being very patient. He's commended Walker and Major and how they've handled things, and he knows his time is coming, and I think it comes on Saturday afternoon where he breaks free for a long score. There's some good games going on this Saturday, guys. Let's get to some picks for this Saturday. What's our first matchup?
South Carolina, Georgia.
Yeah. Who you got?
This is my upset special of the week, guys. I'm going to go with Shane Beamer and South Carolina. This is, to me, if you look at Georgia's schedule, you could go find probably a lot of high schools about the same schedule. I mean, this schedule is weak this year. It's very weak. If you look at the SEC and the teams they play, it's a weak schedule. A lot of people expect them to run the table. I think they slip up on Saturday. I'm going to go with the major upset, and I'm going to go South Carolina Beamer boys because, listen, Rattler's played great this year. He has.
Is this in Gamecock country, boys?
It's in Georgia. But, listen, if Rattler has a great game, I think they can pull off the upset.
I could also see this
Beamer's
upset.
a great underdog coach.
I'm going to go with the upset as well. I'm going to go with the upset as well, guys. It's not going to be a blowout, but I think Beamer and them get it done because of one thing. This quarterback for Georgia, I'm not sure. Quarterback, how many games? How many games did Stetson Bennett win them? A lot. I'm not sure this guy's going to be able to do that. Rattler, I think Rattler brings it home on Saturday. Jackson?
Well, guys, I think I'm going to have to agree. I think Spencer Rattler, he's going – Spencer Rattler, man, I don't know if I've said it live while we've filmed the video, but he was always my dark horse this year to win the Heisman. I think Rattler's going to have that Heisman moment game. Now I'm not saying he's going to win the Heisman. But, I think that Rattler is going to show why he's deserving of a first-round pick in this upcoming draft, why that five-star talent is coming together. And, man, I just love what South Carolina is building over there through Shane Beamer. They're going to get it done.
Well, we're probably the only three people in the whole maybe 3 of 5 or 6 people that's going to pick South Carolina. But the other game we got on the tips of the schedule here is Tennessee, Florida. We went with 2 assistant coaches that are now head coaches, ex-OU assistants with Beamer, and now Josh Heupel. Tennessee, Florida, I think I'm going to pick Tennessee in this game. I think Heupel's offense is just too good. The defense, I think I saw something where they maybe lead the country in sacks or up there. Defense been playing pretty good on that front. So I'm going to go Tennessee.
I'm going Tennessee as well. I think Tennessee's
their quarterback's good too.
They're a little underrated. Their offense is going to put up a lot of points. And that's 2 straight games with an OU connection, guys, with Josh Heupel in this one, Spencer Rattler, Shane Beamer in the other one. So I'm going Tennessee Vols. Rocky Top, boys.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you guys. I just don't think that Florida, their offense is not very good. Like, this is just an offensive team for Florida that's just really, like, they've struggled mightily through their first 2 games offensively. Their QBs, Graham Mertz from Wisconsin, he's not the answer to their issues. And, I think that Rocky Top's going to have no issue versus Florida.
Speaking of Graham Mertz, did anybody think him transferring to another school was going to make him be that much better? I didn't think he was that good at Wisconsin. Did y'all?
And you know what? I don't know why Florida never considered trying to get Spencer Sanders from Oklahoma State, because he doesn't play at Ole Miss.
Well, Spencer Sanders made one of the dumbest moves I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it made no sense.
I mean, he's sitting on the bench now, and he could be starting at many schools. I don't know. I don't know the answer on that.
Let's get to the last game, guys. The Sooners versus the Hurricane, and I'll start that on this one. I think this is the game where this will be the most points OU allows so far this year. I think they're going to allow 13 points, a touchdown, and 2 field goals. I think we're going to see a lot of mop-up duty from the 3rd and 4th string guys there in the 4th quarter. I expect to see a lot of Arnold time in the second half. I think the Sooners roll with the score 52-13.
Yeah, I'll go next. I think that if TU, I just don't think their offense is going to be able to do much. They just don't have the talent. They don't to compete with Oklahoma's defense. So actually, I think TU will score 1 touchdown, and I think Oklahoma will win by a score of 63-7.
All right, I'm going to go 49-10 Oklahoma. Another 10 points this week that they allow, but keeping them way up there in as far as margin of victory. They've done really well. And then also, I mean, I think they rank very high in points allowed and points scored. They're on top of both of those. So I think they kind of keep along the same lines and go 49-10.
There you have it, guys. Big weekend for the state of Oklahoma with a cross-state rival, University of Tulsa, University of Oklahoma, Chapman Stadium, 2:30. If you guys are going to the game, look for us. We'll be there out at Chapman Stadium. Drop by, say hi if you see us. We'll chat it up for Sooner Nation. Till next time, boys. Boomer.
Boomer.
Boomer.